Hello and welcome. Today we are making some nice tuna salad sandwiches. These are really simple to make and you can add some things to make it go from good to great, which we will be doing today. For this recipe we'll be using fresh vegetables to make it look and taste great. So let's look at what we're going to need for this recipe. For this we will need 2 5-ounce cans of tuna packed in water, drained, 1/2 cup mayonnaise, 1 stalk of celery, 3 tablespoons roughly red onion finely diced, 3 tablespoons red bell pepper finely diced, 2 teaspoons sweet relish, 2 teaspoons lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1/2 teaspoon pepper. So normally we skip the prep in the videos, but today we actually need to look at how we want our veggies and why we want them that way. For our celery, we want it big enough to give the bite a little bit of crunch without taking too much of the space up in the bite. So with the celery, we want to first slice it in half and make sure the pieces are a bit more manageable in length, and then we want to slice it lengthwise. And if both sides are roughly how big we want, then you just need to slice it from there into about 5 millimeters or 1/4 inch slices. You may need to make an additional slice lengthwise if you have really wide or large celery, and your celery slices would end up being too big. This is meant to be the largest piece of veggie in the sandwich, but we also want it to be not the whole bite. For our red onion, we want to use our horizontal cuts to determine the length of the pieces. Since red onions tend to have thinner layers, we're going to use that to our advantage and make our cuts slightly wider to get thinner, longer pieces. This will make them more visible in the tuna salad and thin enough to not be overpowering in your bite, because you don't really want to bite into a huge chunk of onion. This is nice since the bite will be then super crisp and because you'll see more purple poking out inside. So, while I awkwardly slice the red bell pepper, let me first say why red. Bell peppers are all the same plant. The color is actually how ripe they are, with the green are unripe, so they're less sweet and have more bitter to them. Orange is almost ripe, noticeably sweeter than green, but still having a high bitter content in the pith. Red are fully ripe and will be the sweetest and the least bitter. This makes them ideal here because we can slice them in thin and let them add another color pop, as well as the celery, and the sweetness from them will help offset the bite of the onions as well. We want these to be slivers of bell pepper, as you can see roughly here. Thank you all for watching and for liking and sharing the videos. It's helping the channel grow, and me and the kitties are truly grateful to you for your help. And if you're not already a subscriber and you do enjoy this video, subscribe for more like it and more pictures of the kitties and hopefully some other content coming soon. So, I tend to mix these in stages. We start with the mayo and the tuna. This makes sure we can get a somewhat even mix throughout, and mostly even. And being the star, we want it to be as evenly mixed in flavor throughout the entire sandwich. Next, we add our spices, salt, pepper, that sort of thing. We want to be able to do this before the veggies to make sure none of it clumps. Since our veggies are freshly cut at the moment, they're going to be damp, and that's going to allow for powders to clump up again on them. By mixing in all our powders first, we ensure an even distribution without any chance of everything clumping up. Up next, we just add the veggies one more at a time and just keep mixing them. While I do say that there's 3 tablespoons I use of onions and bell peppers, I really just kind of eyeball it, and most of the time just add it up until I add enough till I like the way it looks. And since I like the crunch, it works great that way. So, finally, construction. I tend to put the tuna layer to just under 1/2 inch, or about 9 to 10 millimeters. With the veggies, we can give it a nice crunch throughout every bite that way, but I find a slightly thinner layer like that works great for mouthfeel, and it also makes the sandwich a little bit drier than some tuna sandwiches, which is, for me, a preference that I like. Add a nice slice of tomato because I have like 5 giant hothouse fizzes in the fridge that need to be used. A bread like a rye, or, as we used here today, a ciabatta roll is really great. This tuna salad can actually stand up to a more flavorful bread like sourdoughs or those kind of things. So any of your good breads, this is a great recipe for those. And with that, we have made a great tuna salad sandwich that can beat or rival almost any you can get from the average sandwich shop out there. And it'll cost you quite a bit less even using all the fresh vegetables. You can take out the vegetables that you can't get or you might not have on hand, or make substitutes of your own. For example, you could use quick pickled onions in place of the red onions and the relish. And there's a lot you can do there. So, as always, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope you have a great day and a great meal.